All right, here we go. It's another Sunday night live session. We are up and rolling. Guys, thanks again for joining. I'm Kevin Shaw, editor-in-chief of the Watercraft Journal. Thanks for tuning in. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. I got a bunch of prizes here on the floor that we're going to give away for all of you who good day from tomorrow. I love our Australian friends who tune in while you should be at work. I had someone tell me that this show is their Monday morning cup of coffee. So I was actually I was very honored to be a part of your morning routine. So anyway, that's awesome. Thanks again. So to the point, I've got a few prizes here down on the floor. Now we're going to change things up. If you want to qualify, all right, if you want to enter to win a prize, you have to submit a super chat question, okay, whether it's $5 or up. $5 is the minimum, I believe, for super chat. If you want to enter to win a prize, because it costs money to ship this stuff, is submit a question via super chat, and if it's a good question that gets the conversation rolling, I'll stop everything and I'll pull up one of the prizes and be like, okay, you get to pick what you want. But we're going to go over some of the prizes after I do a little bit of intro. And if that's confusing, I'll talk about it again. So anyhow, we got some really cool stuff going on this week and in the coming weeks. This week on the Watercraft Journal at www.watercraftjournal.com, we are publishing, actually at midnight tonight, Central Standard Time, we're publishing our modifying the Sea-Doo Link not cooler, but the Link gas caddy video and article. And we found that the gas caddy, and this is not necessarily Sea-Doo's fault, I don't really blame them for this one, is unfortunately because of a lot of environmentalists and a lot of, quite frankly, a lot of really imposing laws, primarily from California. Sea-Doo would not be allowed to sell their fuel caddy in that state if it did not meet their certain emission standards, no spill standards, which are draconian to say the least. And unfortunately, there's a lot of states who can't think for themselves and they follow what California's cardboard says. It sounds like I said cardboard, but carb as in carb emissions. And the emissions standard. Now I know that they're on their second filler neck for the fuel caddy. It's changed. Hey, we got a super chat from Mark. All right, starting off strong. Mark, if you have a question, if you have a question for me to answer, I will definitely answer that, and then I'll put you in the running for one of our prizes that we got. But the fuel caddy that Sea-Doo came out with is a very restrictive. Spring-loaded with a locking collar, and it's almost impossible to refill your ski out in open water, not to mention doing it on the shore. And believe it or not, me and Michael Brandt Michael Brand is the Chattanooga Fish Pro guy on Instagram, and he's a good friend, and he's a friend of the channel and a friend of the magazine. And Michael and I were literally just trying to put 3 gallons of gas in the RXPX, and that stupid thing just dumped fuel everywhere, and it was just a nightmare. So what we did is a very easy, very cheap fix for that. So if you live in a state where no one cares, if the state, the Parks Department is not going to give you any grief, as long as it's a sealed, vented gas can, we have a really easy fix for you. That video goes live tonight at midnight along with the article. All right. So that's going to be Monday's video. Additionally, I'm going to send you a couple Canadian filler necks this week. But additionally to that, either Tuesday, it should be Tuesday, I believe, is we publish for you racing fans, we're publishing the Lake Hartwell, Georgia race report and photo gallery from Jessica Waters from Waters Edge Photography. We've been publishing race coverage since we started 8 years ago, and we're never going to cease. And we still have P Aqua X. We have Pro Watercross Racing. Occasionally we get some regional stuff. We're always publishing racing content. So if you do want to get that kind of content, definitely check out watercraftjournal.com, where we publish full photo galleries and race reports. We talk to the racers. We get really good interviews. So we don't ignore that side of the sport. In fact, we've been doing it better than most other people. So that's something exciting just for this week. The other thing is, of course, next Sunday is 4th of July. And because I'm not a commie bastard, I will be celebrating that with my family. And we won't be having a YouTube live session, nor should you be tuning in. All of you guys should be enjoying that holiday. It is a holy day, and we should be very, very grateful for the Day of Independence. So we'll be taking that day off next Sunday. I'll be down in Florida, and it's a much delayed trip to Florida. Unfortunately, I won't be doing any riding. I'll be visiting Broward Motorsports. I'm going to be visiting Riva. I'm not riding anything, but we will be doing some video content. We will be doing quite a bit of stuff. So we're pretty excited about that. Let's see here. New videos, race coverage. I'm looking at the list. All right, let's go over the prizes. So again, I got a whole bunch of prizes here. Believe it or not, 2 of these prizes were claimed at the last month's prize giveaway, and the prize winners never gave me their addresses. So you got to email me your mailing address, or you ain't getting nothing. So let's go over the prizes. First, I got 2 prizes for Kawasaki guys. I got 2 Sea-Doo prizes. I don't have anything from Yamaha. And then I got stuff from Slippery. I got actually quite a bit of stuff from Slippery. I got some really cool stuff from Slippery. So we got some really cool things that you guys can choose from. But if you want to enter to be a winner, you got to give us a super chat. You got $5 or more, and you got to ask a question. All right. The first one, we've had these before. This is my last one that I got, and that is a Kawasaki tumbler. Screw top has a nice gasket seal on it, and a straw. So this is a nice handy little thing. It will, to my understanding, fit in the glove box of an Ultra. Will not fit in the glove box of the new STX. The new STX glove box is tiny, but the new STX does have cup holders. And if you guys didn't pay attention to what we did at the Watercraft Journal, cut out, if you have an STX, a new STX, the 2020 and up STX 160, either get a piece of EVA foam, which can be HydroTurf, or a little patch of carpet like you would to recarpet your bunks on your trailer. Cut out a small disc and place it in the bottoms of the cup holders for the Cowies, and that's going to help it's going to absorb a lot of the vibration, and you won't have cups and drinks bouncing out of your cup holders, because otherwise they're shooting out. I lost quite a bit of stuff, a few drinks and things like that in test riding the STX. Had to learn quickly. It needed a little bit of foam for that. So that's the first prize for you Kawasaki guys, is one of these tumblers. All right, we got a second super chat. Fantastic. The second prize is the last. I had a few of these wallet and key holders. You can put credit cards, cash, your car keys in here. Has a nice gasket seal, locks up. All right, makes a nice, good watertight seal. Comes up with a lanyard. This will fit in the glove box of your STX, and of course in your Ultra, and makes for a really good case. If you don't want to bring your whole wallet, you want to bring your driver's license, some cash, whatever. This is also a good price. All right, so let's answer Anthony's question. Anthony writes, what is your opinion on PWC navigation lights nighttime operation, both legal and non-legal waters? Okay, that's a very good question. We did an article on how it's illegal in a lot of portions of the U.S. and in Canada. Thankfully, it becomes more of a regional thing. The Coast Guard doesn't like it, but they defer to a lot of the local legislation. So, like, I believe North Carolina and South Carolina both allow you to have navigation lights and operate pre-dawn and after dusk. And my biggest concern really is just safety. My biggest concern with navigation lights and nighttime operation is safety. Now, anyone who operates a boat at night knows to be very mindful of debris and logs and trees and other stuff that's in the water. I am typically in rivers and lakes here in the southern states, in the southeast. So I encounter a lot of trees. I encounter a lot of branches, just a lot of floating debris from rain runoff. And that stuff can typically be hiding a foot or two below the water surface. And you might not see it until it's too late. Thankfully, a lot of you guys who do navigate in the dark, you're going slow anyhow. I don't see a lot of guys who are blasting full throttle at dark. I have slipped out when it's a little dark with no navigation lights, but it was dawn and it was salt water. We were out in a bay, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But no one wants the illegal operation ticket. So definitely check your local. Definitely check with the laws local to your state or province. That's number one. And if they are okay with it, and you pass muster, and I don't know if there's I believe there's a technical inspection. You have to go to one of those licensing marinas, and I think an actual captain has to go over and look over your vessel. But I might be speaking out of my butt on that one, but that's what I have come to understand. That's the information that I've heard over the years, is that you have to go get an inspection. It's similar to taking like an old car you're going from non-operation to road operation. You have to go to the DMV and they have to do a walk around, make sure you have high beam, low beam, turn signals, brake lights, and a horn. All the basic, safety operation stuff. I think you have to have windshield wipers too. It's been a long time since I've gone from non-op to street operation. Anyway, but if they're okay with it, and I would see it, okay, Anthony, I think the best thing for most people and the best application would be Fish Pro guys. If you're going fishing, your low speed operation anyway, you're typically going, you're not hot rodding through the river. So if you're considering like a Fish Pro application or just outfitting your watercraft for fishing, I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat if the law lets you. If where you lived said no way, you're kind of stuck. But the hardest thing with personal watercraft, especially because it's such a small vessel. It's just such a small vessel. It's harder to find. That's their primary concern. It's like a kayak, it's really hard to identify that, especially out in a larger body of water. So again, I'll err on the side of being safe. And if you're going out early, that's not a problem. You get stuck. Hey, it's daylight soon. If you're staying out late, you might be stuck stuck there overnight. I'll tell you one story about being stuck overnight. This one was actually really funny. I was out on a bayou ride with Billy Cruz, and if you guys don't know who Billy Cruz is, it's Crew, Crews, and Billy Cruz is the owner of PWC Trailfinder.com. Really great website. Awesome trails, awesome stuff. And especially if you're into exploring and finding new little areas to go, very, very cool. Anyway, so I go out on a ride with Billy. And Billy, he's an old hand at the area that we're riding. And he starts talking about how this is where his dad would take him fishing out on little boats and things like that. And he took his sons out in boats and jet skis. And he starts mentioning, he says, by the way, where we are is a really big tidal flow area. And if you get caught out here at low tide, you're spending the night. And I kind of cocked an eyebrow. I was like, really? And he goes, oh yeah, you're spending the night on your jet ski. And I was like, get out of here. And he says, no. He says around 5 o'clock or so, the tide starts to rise and you can make your way out. He says, I've been caught out here. My sons have been caught out here. He says, my dad's buddy got caught out there. He was calling for help. And they're like, we physically cannot come out and get you. And so he just stayed the night out in the bayou. I think that fellow was on his boat, but other guys have been caught on their skis. And so that's really the main thing I'm concerned about, is just your safety. All right. So let's talk about, hopefully that answers your question, Anthony. And thank you for the super chat. I will go back. Let's go over the prices. Let's go over the prizes today. So I want everyone to know what they're getting. Because I already did the Kawasaki ones. Let's do, I do have a Yamaha thing. I do, but it's not directly Yamaha. I feel terrible, but this is an unused PWC bracket for one of these Bluetooth speakers. All right. This is the bracket. Pull the rubber band off. That actually connects your handlebars. All right. This mounts to the Yamaha FX handlebars. You take these Velcro straps, you strap it around this, and you can attach one of these Bluetooth speakers to it. This is a little big. This is a bigger one. I'll give you all the information if this is the prize that you want. But I felt really bad. PWC Brackets sent me one of these years ago, and it was for a demo unit Yamaha that I had, and I had to give the Yamaha back, and I never got the chance to install it and use it. So I figured, well, you know what? Better than sitting in my garage in a plastic storage tub. If somebody wants it, it's theirs. All right? So let's go over my Sea-Doo. For you Sea-Doo enthusiasts, I have first an authentic Fish Pro. I call it a Gilligan hat, but it actually has the neat little snap. You know, the snap sides. You can do both sides. You can look like a. Oh gosh, here we go. Yeah, here you go. You'd be one of those guys. Look like a tour guide for the Outback. Or a zookeeper. Or you can have one side and we'll get you a boomerang. Sorry, no offense to our sewing friends. But if you're a Fish Pro enthusiast and you want this hat and you want to enter to win, submit a super chat question and you can pick this guy. Or we've got, and I actually really like this one. I kind of don't want to give it away. This is a really nice Sea-Doo Life. Yeah. You know, you guys know the Polar Camel brand? Boy, that seal's nice. This is an insulated Sea-Doo tumbler. And really, really nice. I mean, it's a good coffee mug, good cold drink mug. Good spot for a straw, or you can drink right out of it. This is actually a really nice tumbler. This is a really neat prize. If you guys like that, you're a big Sea-Doo enthusiast, this is also one of the prizes. You can pick one of those. All right. So let's go over the last few things. These are, I got a big box of these and I feel bad just because I have so many of them. All right. But Amphibian USA gave us these insulated sleeve guards. All right. Those are thick neoprene ones. These are the thinner UV style water wicking arm sleeves. A lot of people are using arm protection. And I have a few. I got like a snakeskin. Here's a snakeskin one. Here's like a tropical one. Here is a gator, a face gator. In fact, I'll include the face gator for free. Holy cow. We aren't really wearing masks much anymore, but you get the face gator, the face mask, and the sleeves, all one prize. You guys can have that. If you're a two-stroke enthusiast, you've seen this color before. Anyway, yeah, we got a bunch of these. That's trash. Throw that in the trash can. I don't even know what these giant things are. I mean, are they for your bicep? These amphibian. I mean, you put this on your bicep and you put this on your forearm? I don't know. If you guys want it, that's an available prize. I'll put it back in the box. And now for the big stuff from Slippery. I mentioned this one before. This is a very big. This is a super large. This is a double XL nylon vest, snapping 3-buckled nylon vest. This would be for your more rotund riders. It's open at the sides, so you get a lot of room. All right, it's not a side. It is a front entry vest. This is a very entry level vest, but this is your super large, double XL. Okay. Then I kind of don't want to get rid of these, but because they're really, really good. But I have a pair, and you get to pick from red and black, green and black, Slippery Circuit race gloves. All right. These are, and they're both XL. All right. Well, no. The red is large. The red is a large. All right. That's why I'm not using it. I have an XL. The red is a large. The green and black, so you Cowie guys, or in fact, I shouldn't say that. Yamaha's black and green, and then if you have a 2020 RXTX, the green matches too. And this would go with your Sea-Doo, your Cowie, or your Yamaha's, lime and black. And this is XL, circuit gloves. So, Anthony, you get the red gloves for your super chat. Anthony gets the red gloves. Anthony, please email me info@watercraftjournal.com. info@watercraftjournal.com. I need your mailing address. All right. Please email me your mailing address, or you're not getting these, but they're yours. All right. I'm going to throw them over here. They're yours, buddy. Okay. So let's talk about the actual topic today. Let's do today's topic. All right. I'm going to check off some stuff first. All right. Prizes. I've gone over the prizes. New videos. Gone over the new videos. 5 things not to kill your jet ski. Okay. Let me start with a short story. Nothing. Guys, you know it's me. There's no short version of this. So 2 weekends ago, I go to the Belly Buster ride. This is the Carolina Ski Riders group. All right. Really neat event. They had a lot of proceeds for charity. They did a really nice job. Really good group. So anyhow, I go to the Belly Buster ride. Friday, I go out and I'm riding around. I'm riding around with Michael Brand from Chattanooga Fish Pro. And then we later do a ride with a handful of the guys from go out. That was Jerry Gaddis texting me in the middle of my freaking Jerry's texting me in the middle of this damn thing. All right. So we go out and we ride, and it's a really neat venue that they had there on Lake Hartwell. It was really cool. But the big group was Saturday morning. And they were all getting ready to leave around 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock was all right, I'm closing this. Sorry, Jerry. I'm talking to people right now. Jerry just bought a Tesla, and he's showing me 0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds, quarter mile in 9.3. It's 1,020 horsepower, 3 high-performance motors with carbon sleeve rotors and torque vectoring. He's trying to get a rise out of me because it's faster than the Dodge Demon. I'd rather have a Demon than a Tesla. That's just me. But then the Tesla seats 5. Anyway, so there the Florida ski or the Carolina ski rider group, they're all gathering around. They're all getting ready to leave at 11 o'clock. Have their little riders meeting around 10:30, 10:45. And the cove is this really nice swooping cove. And everyone's pulled their skis up to it. And then they kind of say, all right, everyone, load up. We're ready to go. And I stand back and I watch everyone. The cove has like a 2-foot little drop. And it goes to about 1.5 to 2 feet of water. And it just increasingly gets deeper. And I watch no less than 30 people from the grass jump onto their ski, start up their ski, and idle. In easily less than two feet of water. And they're just idling. And I'm sitting here cringing. I'm cringing. I mean, it hurts to watch this. And they're sitting there, and some of the guys in supercharged skis are revving their engines, trying to sound great because they got open exhaust and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, man, if I was a mechanic, if I had a shop, I'd be handing out business cards right now. Because every single one of these yahoos on a Sea-Doo are trashing their carbon seal. And people are just chewing up rocks and sand in their impellers. And here's the problem, guys. Shallow starting your watercraft is the fastest, easiest way to accelerate the damage on your personal watercraft. It's number one. I literally made a show. I did this intentionally. I got in the water, which was knee deep, and I pushed the RXPX out until I was almost chest deep. Lifted up the back of the ski and did this. And I shook it, which forces water up into the pump and out of the nozzle. I did this about 2 or 3 times, pulled the swim step down, climbed up, fired up the ski, idled out. And people looked at me. And one guy's like, nah, man, I ain't going to do that. It's too cold. Okay. Well, let me explain to you what's happening, and I'll do it with a Sea-Doo and a Yamaha Cowie, and hopefully it makes sense. Let me pump the brakes first. I understand that the comment section is going to be filled with, I've done XYZ opposite of what I'm going to tell you today, and I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem You're full of crap. It always works. Okay, fine. Well, unfortunately, there's people who smoke cigarettes. George Burns smoked cigars until he died at 99 years old. I get it. There was a lovely old woman, a little old black lady from Georgia, and she was turning 107 years old. And the news said, "What's your secret to living long life?" She says, "Well, I have a Dr. Pepper in the morning, and I have a Dr. Pepper in the evening with my dinner." So she's drinking carbonated soda pop twice a day. Okay. Sometimes you squeak through. I'm trying to give advice here that honestly, okay, Nick, you need to stop. I appreciate that you're being that you're participating, but all I see is 2 pages of you making comments. So pump the brakes a little bit, bro. The advice that I'm giving today is going to be for the majority of people. All right. And in the majority of cases, will there be exceptions to the rules? Certainly. There certainly are. But for the most part, these things will help you have a longer life with your personal watercraft. And that's what I got to share. So let's go back to shallow starts. All right. What happens is that in a shallow start, you start stirring up all the sediment at the bottom of the lake or the river or the sand at the sandbar, wherever you may be. And that sediment starts swirling through the pump. And it's really, really circulating, and it turns into just this cloudy, silty mess. Well, that cloudy, silty mess of sand and rock and dirt for Sea-Doos gets pulsed up the propulsion shaft, up the drive shaft, and gets into the carbon seal. Okay? It literally does. And one of the quickest ways to rapidly erode your carbon seal is that sand to be impregnated and grinding away at the contact surface of the carbon seal. Shallow starts kill your Sea-Doo. All right. Every manufacturer tells you to anchor. Every manufacturer tells you to anchor. Anchor your ski. Do not pull it up on the beach. Then, humorously enough, their press photos come out for their new 2021 or 2022 models, and they've got all the skis up on the beach. So do as I say, not as I do. I don't know what else to tell you. But if you can, anchor your ski. Keep it off the beach. Number 2, no shallow starts. Now, I just talked about carbon seals. Believe it or not, the same process can happen to the hull bearing where the prop shaft goes through on the Yamahas and the Cowies. And you can get that sand into the grease in the hull bearing. All right. It's not a perfectly sealed bearing. And it's a good seal, but it's not perfectly sealed. And I've seen not many, but I have seen hull bearings give out because of sand and impregnation of contaminants. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, in a larger or in a lesser extent, you can start really chewing up your impeller. Not with the sand, in softer sediment, but if you are in a sandier, rockier area and you are really shallow starting your ski, you can suck through rock and debris and all sorts of stuff. Now, every manual tells you operate your watercraft in a minimum of 3 feet. All right, that's a minimum. I have seen I've seen rocks pulled off this water. I've seen rocks, clam shells, seashells pulled up at 4 feet. All right. Yeah, you're giving it throttle to do that, but I typically say 4 feet. So that is, unfortunately, So again, I'm erring on the side of caution here, guys. We want your watercraft to last. We don't want people having to change their impellers or their wear rings or, God forbid, their carbon seals. So deep water starts 3 foot minimum, 4 foot better. There's better, best, good, better, best. And good is 3 foot, 4 foot is better. Best would be up to your chest, climb up, get on the watercraft. Cameron asked a question and a super chat at $10. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Cameron asked, hey, love your content. I love the content you have at Watercraft Journal. You helped me make my decision for the 2021 VX Limited HO, so thank you. With my new ski, I noticed a very small amount of water at the bottom of the ride. Is this normal for Yamaha? Believe it or not, yes. Yamaha does, it's very rarely, in fact, for many personal watercraft, your Sea-Doo should be dry. But for Yamaha and Cowies, I regularly saw about an inch of water. 2-3 inches is a lot, and I would be a little nervous. An inch of water, not so bad. And so what I would recommend is being on top of your cleanup procedure. If you go to our Salt Away video, video details why you want to mist, not hose, but mist. If you have a garden hose with the mist feature, mist your engine compartment down, WD-40 it, and open up your drain plugs. If you have a trailer that lets you do it, tilt it up and store it with the seat. You know, with the ideal storage for a personal watercraft, and I'm not talking long term. I'm talking in between rides. The ideal storage for a personal watercraft is A, indoors, B, with every door open, your hood, or your front hood, front storage hood, your glove box door, your seats off, even if it's just kind of sitting there a little cracked open, your drain plugs out, and the ski tilted like this. Because that's going to let any water run out. It's indoors, so you're not getting UV damage, which I'm going to talk about. And it's allowing air circulation to get through and dry out the rest of the watercraft. That is ideal. Anything less than that is less than ideal, but it's better than sealed up under the sun with no cover on. If you're going to be outside, put a cover on it. Literally, the RX-PX outside has just the seat off, the back seats in my garage, everything's cracked open, drain plugs are out, covers on after being detailed. But it's sitting level because my trailer doesn't have the neat tilting feature. The best second option I can do is put a brick or a big wood block underneath the front caster and tilt it up that way. So that's what I recommend. It's not taking on water. It's not sinking. But there is water that does come in. And that might just be coming in from the air ventilation under the cowling, and water comes up. It's kind of a wet ride, and the water comes up, and it just comes through the Canaflex hoses, and it just trickles in, and it just accumulates over time. All right, so I hope that answers your question. Cameron, thank you very much. Oh, we got another one. Okay, Keith writes, brand new GTX arrives next month. Can I install the Riva power intake SCOM intercooler piping IMUK before the 5 or 10 hour break-in? You can definitely install that. The problem is that because you're putting a SCOM in, the ECU is still going to operate as programmed. All right. The SCOM has no interaction, has zero interaction with the ECU. What it does do is interrupt the connection, the communications between the ECU and the speedometer. And so when the speedometer says, hey, we're going too fast, normally that direct circuit would run to the ECU. ECU says, hey, slow us down. Go, and it would talk to the throttle control, and it would slow it down. All right. The SCOM does not reprogram the ECU at all. It just keeps that signal, that caution signal if we're going too fast, from getting through. So with all your parts going on early and the ECU operating as is, you're not going to get any extra performance, and you're going to kind of piss off the ECU, because the ECU is going to read, well, we're getting more air than we're used to, and we're getting a denser charge than we're used to, and it very likely may throw an error code. That's my concern, Keith. All right, is that you're throwing parts. All right, you're throwing parts willy-nilly. And I hate to say it this way because I'm not trying to be crass in any way, but if you're coming to me with these questions, that means you're unfamiliar with what they're going to do. And so when you come to me and say, hey, I want to drop $2,500 worth of parts on my ski, and I don't know what it's going to do to my ski within the first 2 hours, that means that I kind of think you should hold off. I think you should wait. Now, what's neat, and I don't know if you have the patience for it, because patience is really hard when it comes to tuning, but if you want to take the time, add one thing at a time and see if it makes a difference. Because I'm willing to bet you're going to be really surprised how little difference all those parts are making. I really am. Power intake, SCOM. You don't have a catch can on that list. I definitely recommend putting a catch can on it. And what's mind-blowing to me is that you're throwing performance parts at it with zero handling parts. So you effectively are building a big block Chevelle and giving no care to your suspension, tires, or brakes. And that's scary, especially that hull. That hull is dangerous, especially with the stock handling and traction components. I would, rather than doing the intercooler piping, rather than doing the IMUK, I would add a catch can, and I would put sponsons on it and an intake grate. I would even forego the power intake. I put a SCOM, intake grate, sponsons, catch can. You're going to perform just as well, and you're going to handle better. And it's going to be a far more enjoyable ski. You asked. But Keith, thank you for the question. In fact, if you want, you can pick a prize. I'll let you pick a prize. And the same goes, Cameron, you had a really good question too. And that's going to help out a lot of people. So Cameron, you get to pick a prize too. I just need to make sure I know which prize you get. So Cameron and Keith, answer quickly. All right. So we talked about the shallow starts with the carbon seal and with the pump bearing or the shaft bearing. We talked about the impeller. Here's the other thing a lot of people do not consider when it comes to shallow starts. And if you're shallow starting and you got all that swirling crap that's swirling around your ski, and you have an open circuit cooling system, Kawasaki, Yamaha, where's all that crap going? It's going right in your engine. It's going right in your intercooler. Guys aren't thinking about that. You shallow start a Yamaha SVHO, you're pumping all of that silt and garbage through your cooling circuit that goes into your engine, goes into your intercooler. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not high pressure. It's a low pressure circuit. You think you're getting all that sand out? You're thinking you're getting all that debris out? Not real well. No, sir. So strongly recommend doing deep starts. No shallow starting. Okay. Number 2. People need to be way better about their after-ride cleanup and flushing. I'll tell you what, I don't flush after every ride. I typically don't need to. I'm on a freshwater lake, and it's a pretty deep lake, and there's very few times that I have any sort of debris issue. But once a month, I do flush, minimum, at least minimum. And when I do flush, I'm using a solvent. I'm using typically Salt Away. If I run out of Salt Away, believe it or not, I happily use dishwasher soap. There was a misnomer. A lot of people were like, "Oh, dishwasher soap. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you do it." Dishwasher soap, and I'm talking like Dawn soap or Palmolive, what other brands? Not the actual liquid dishwasher soap, but dishwashing soap. Actually, I got it right here. It's on the shelf. Sam's Club. I used this just a couple days ago. All right. I used this when I came back from the Belly Buster ride. Dishwasher soap. All right. Dish soap. It'll work. It'll work. Okay. But you want to get that crap. I use Dawn soap and Sonic carb cleaners. Yeah, it works great. It works great. They clean ducks with it. That stuff will do a really good job of breaking down oils. It'll break down debris. It actually is pretty good on a lot of contaminants. Plus, the other half of it, and this is something that was explained to me, I didn't know this offhand, but I learned this probably about 10 years ago, was that because that soap gets to such a lather, it actually pressurizes inside the circuit. So if you're idling your Yamaha, your Cowie, and you're washing out in fact, I mean, even with Sea-Doo, I know they have a closed loop system, but the flush is for the exhaust. Flushing out the exhaust is always good. It's hard because there's always going to be, especially if you've been doing a lot of shallow starting, there's going to be debris in it. And it's hard. You can't get it out, and you definitely don't want to rev the crap out of your ski. So unfortunately, you need to find something that's going to help break that stuff down. If you don't have Salt Away, which is a preferred, it's a preferred detergent, that dishwasher soap is actually perfectly suitable, and most all of you have that in your house. Just don't use all of it because your wife will get mad. The flushing, I mean, again, I'm really concerned with open circuit Watercraft. Not that it's inferior whatsoever. Hey, Kevin R., thank you, sir, for the super chat. We appreciate it. And USMC, hoorah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah, brother! Hell yeah! Yeah, if you're Kevin, thank you. If that's to read right that you're a Marine, then hoorah! Hell yeah! Love you, brother. Thank you for serving. I will tell you, I have met so many people who are not on top of washing their Watercraft, of maintaining it. Yes, you want to mist down your engine compartment, and with the new Sea-Doos, with the link access panel, that becomes a big pain in the butt. It's very useful when it's off, but taking it on and off is a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna lie, but it is worth getting Mr. Bubbles. But it's worth misting down your engine compartment and then getting. I prefer the WD-40, the big blast can, and it literally has a trumpet on it that looks like this. You can get it at Walmart for $3, and get in there and just hose all your rubber lines, all your surfaces with WD-40 or XPS or any one of these water displacement oiling, mineral oils. All right. You're going to want to do this. That is going to be the best way to keep the surfaces from flashing, from rusting, from, I mean, your hose clamps, all the plastics, the salt air or the humidity the wet, humid air that exists inside of an engine compartment absolutely can kill all those really, really soft materials. So definitely oil it down after every use. I'm religious about that. Like, I am religious about that. That is really one of my biggest, not so much a pet peeve, but definitely necessary. Stoney comes in with a super chat, and he asks, is there any pros or cons of using WD-40 versus the Yamaha or XPS anti-corrosive spray? Well, what does the WD stand for? WD stands for water displacement. It's a mineral spirit. It is a mineral oil. And all XPS and the Yamalube, XPS. I know Redline Oil has one. Royal Purples is fine. I mean, everyone wants to come in with their newfangled version of something. Everyone wants to reinvent the mousetrap. If you're a Sea-Doo guy and you have a good relationship with your parts department, or you're a Yamaha guy and you have a good relationship with your parts department and you want to run Yamalube, run Yamalube. If you want to run XPS, run XPS. I'm thinking cost and usefulness. The WD-40 is a big fat can with a big spout that just goes bah and just fans the whole thing. But if you got a garage full of XPS, use your XPS. It works great. It's a minor ingredient change. There's very little difference between those two. But it's just a mineral lubricant, and it's a water displacing lubricant. All right. It's an anti-corrosive. And what's it doing? Okay. It's coating these surfaces and keeping moisture from collecting on these surfaces. And that water, that moisture that collects on your hose clamps, on your engine block, on your rubber hoses, on your electrical connections, all right, water does more damage than anything else, all right? And especially hot, humid air murders the inside of your engine compartment. That's why you want to open it up. That's why you want to ventilate it. But XPS or Yamalube or Redline or Royal Purple or whomever, you know, if Target makes its own version of WD-40, use that. It doesn't really matter. You'll be better off using anything than nothing. Have I done a molecular shootout between who has a better, tighter bond or a better coating surface? Yamalube, XPS, or WD-40? No, I haven't done a test like that because I kind of don't think most people care. And quite frankly, there's diesel fuel. If you're really cheap, use diesel fuel on everything. I can't imagine. Jack, that's funny. You're not wrong. Jack's not wrong. But I think XPS or WD-40 would be a better choice. All right. Okay. So we did that. I want to knock that off. All right. So okay. Next thing, and this is entirely indicative of how you store your watercraft, but in part of not being on top of your maintenance and being on top of just your post-ride maintenance. And I'm not talking oil, or I'm not talking oil changes and oil filters and all that kind of stuff, and making sure you're proper, your wear ring and all that jazz. I'm talking basic after ride, come home, wash the ski down. And that the last one is plastic and vinyl protectants. Okay. Your plastic and vinyl protectants are imperative. And I don't care Well, I definitely care if you're leaving it out with no cover on. Please put a cover on it. I don't care if it's a cheap plastic tarp. That's better than nothing. All right. The plastics that the manufacturers today are using, especially Sea-Doo, bleach in the sun within weeks. I mean, badly, really badly. Within a month to 2 months, they're chalky. I mean, chalky white. You can scrape your finger off and pull air off. All right. The plastics they're using right now are not UV resistant. I don't care what they say. I've shown it to you. Okay. And I'm imploring, please, after every ride, put some vinyl protectant on your seats and your grips and vinyl, and put plastic protectant, all right? Plastic protectant on all your plastics. And put a cover on it. Honestly, both. Honestly, both. Protect the plastics on your watercraft, or it's going to look 10 years old after 1 year. I personally am not very satisfied with the quality of plastics that Sea-Doo, Yamaha, Cowie's fine to a lesser extent. They haven't changed their formulas, and there's a lot less exposed raw black plastic. But especially with the new GP and VX Yamahas and the Sea-Doos, they're using a lot of raw textured black plastics. And guys, that stuff bleaches out really, really fast. I implore you, please be studious about putting a layer on. I'll tell you what, I've been desperate, and like Back in Black and like Meguiar's Back in Black has some UV protection, but it is not a UV protectant. It is a plastic restorer. Armor All, it has a Back in Black type plastic restorer that has some protection, but is not a dedicated protectant. I actually swapped emails with a couple people, and John, I'm exactly getting to your question. I've talked to a couple people, and I'm really good friends with a guy named Mike Pennington, who works at Meguiar's. And everyone here knows, I know, everybody knows I'm a super shill for Meguiar's. I love Meguiar's. I do. I love Meguiar's. And so I talked to I talked to Mike and the agency people that I've known for years, and I've asked a lot of formula questions, and I said, listen, we're encountering this in the personal watercraft industry. What do you guys think? And one of the funniest answers I got was, hey, do us a favor and put on they have their what's called their ultimate tire shine, and it's this grape glue. It's grape scented purple goo, and I took an applicator pad like I would use for my tires, and I put it on the bond rail and the bumpers, and they said, just tell us how well it holds out. And the problem is that it's so sticky that it contacts you, and you're like, okay, this is getting on my stuff. But the shine lasted for a month. Like, it was unreal. But the shine lasted for a month. Like, it was unreal. Do I recommend using it? No. They actually have some tire shine, which is a really good penetrating protectant. And I've used that on microfiber towels, and I've used that on a lot of the black plastics. And that has been why, quite frankly, the RX PX looks the way it does. I've been using Meguiar's tire foam on a rag and applying that. And a lot of those plastics are really good. I actually don't know anything about 303. I really, really, really don't. Oh, don't do your hand grips. Oh, don't. You never, never, never do your hand grips. Yeah, anything you're holding, you don't. I mean, never do your handlebar grips. Holy cow, that would be terrible. What's a catch can? Rick, very good question. I need you to go to our YouTube channel, and I need you to just type into the search function catch can. You will be educated. You'll drink from the fire hose. I've done more videos on catch cans, and then I've done technical articles literally breaking down what a catch can does and why you need it, why it's imperative. And there's still no answer why Sea-Doo and Yamaha do not have. Well, Yamaha doesn't need it. Kawasaki has it from the factory. Sea-Doo needs it from the factory, but Sea-Doo hasn't done it. So please go, after today's video, go over to the channel and watch the videos and check out watercraftjournal.com. Type in catch can. You're going to drink from the fire hose on that one. All right, there's a lot of content on that one. Okay, so we talked about plastic and vinyl treatment. We talked about flushing. We talked about soap. All right, the last thing, and this is number 3, is going to be something that's such a no-duh. It's a no-duh. It's a no-duh. But I have to do it again. Please don't rev the hell out of your ski when it's out of the water, when it's on the trailer or on the stand. Now, there's a difference between blipping the throttle, whoop, whoop, really fast, and then ringing the hell out of it, okay? Reason being, actually, there's a lot of reasons, is a personal watercraft is designed for resistance and the resistance of water, okay? Put tire shine on their motorcycle tires. Yeah, it's a little dangerous. Your personal watercraft is designed to have resistance, all right? And it's supposed to exist in a fluid environment. So there are certain tolerances that are looser than others, okay? And those tolerances, being loose, are designed to meet with the resistance of water and let the water counteract any sort of harmonic or vibration. When you're out of the water, your impeller shaft, your impeller, all the components involved still have those tolerances, whether they're tight or whether they're loose. And if you're wringing it out of there, you might get oscillation, you might get a harmonic that could very well do damage. For Sea-Doo owners, this is the fastest way to, besides a shallow start, fastest way to murder your carbon seal. I mean, really. Because a carbon seal is a high friction point. It is literally a piece of carbon, like a piece of coal, against a billet piece of steel, and they're spinning. Well, what keeps that cool? What lubricates that? It's not oil, it's water. So why does Sea-Doo say, if you're flushing your watercraft, run it for 30 to 45 seconds, and then kill it, and then run it again? That's because your carbon seal is going to heat up, and you're going to hurt your carbon seal. You sit there for 2 minutes and let it idle. Well, holy crap. Now, a Yamaha can do that. A Kawasaki can do that because it's got a sealed, greased bearing for the drive shaft going through the hull. All right? That's fine. It can do that. A Sea-Doo cannot, because the Sea-Doo's got a carbon seal, and the Sea-Doo's going to heat up. All right? It's going to heat, that friction's going to heat up the carbon seal, and you could do a lot of damage to it. You might not, but you could. And I'm trying to err on the side of caution here. All right? So, if you guys are if you're doing a flush, or you want to clear out your water box after you pull off the launch ramp, all right, pull up into the parking lot, put the key in, fire up your ski, let it idle for 5 seconds, and then hit the throttle and bring it up to about 3 grand at the most. Go, ruh, ruh, and then kill it. That's going to flush out whatever's in the water box from your ride. And the same story goes when you're in your backyard or in your side yard or on your driveway, and you're going to flush out. Your personal your Sea-Doo. All right, plug it in, fire it up, turn on the hose, let the hose run. If you got salt away going, you'll see the foam coming out. You see the soap coming out. Okay, great. Kill the engine, or let it idle out and let it circulate another 45 seconds, or I would say 30 seconds. Go turn off the hose with the water off, rip it once or twice, kill the engine. 45 seconds, you're done, you're good, donezo. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of soapy whatever is left inside of the water box. That's not going to hurt anything. Salt away, Dawn soap, that's not caustic. It's not going to eat up the inside of your water box. So you're in good shape. You're okay. All right? Same thing with your Yamaha or your Cowie. You might have a little bit of soap or a little bit of salt away left in the engine circuit itself. Well, guess what? When's the next time you're going to fire it up? It's going to be on the launch ramp coming off your trailer. It's already circulating water. You're in good shape. All right. I've literally jumped on people's skis on a Yamaha or a Cowie, jumped on the ski, fired up the ski to help them pull. I'm helping someone launch. And I look at the pisser coming off the side, and I can literally see soap coming out. And why? Because they got a little bit left. And that's okay. That's not the end of the world. You're all right. All right. So, and you know what? I did have a conversation with Greg Gaddis with a couple other guys, and Anthony just gave us another super chat. Holy cow! Let me come back to your question. You already got your gloves, so this is a bonus one. So thank you, sir. But let me talk about this one. In talking with Greg and Jerry Gaddis, one of the more interesting points that they brought up was revving that Yamaha out of the water, or just wringing the piss out of it, is a quick way to, they said, injure. I'd say just premature wear the clutches on your supercharger. Now, I understand why some guys do it. It's showing off. It's parking lot bragging. Guys in there that have open exhaust, they might have a tune. They want to sound like a badass, and they go in there and they go, rah, 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 and they're like, look at me, I'm so great. And then they kill their engine. All right, cool. I don't need I don't need the affection of strangers that much. So please don't. Yeah, please don't. It's not ideal. Yeah, it's really not ideal to do that. So, all right, back to Anthony's question. He asks, have you found that the plastic clips that live in the hull to secure the engine access plate on 2018 ST3, 2020 Polytech and TR3 break and fail? I have seen, and they're the snap-in clips. They have 2 little prongs, and they snap in. I have not. I've seen them break. I have not broken any. And the only reason why is because I don't I don't torque those torque screws down. Most guys who do break them, it's because they're using an impact wrench and they're going bap, bap, and they're really just torquing the piss out of them. I use an electric drill most of the time. And an electric drill doesn't have the torque that my little Ryobi electric torque wrench does. An electric socket isn't so bad. If you do it by hand, snug them. You don't need to gorilla the hell out of it. Sit there and go, you don't need to do that. But I have seen them break. I have seen them fail. I believe it or not, I have accidentally pushed 2 of them in and had to fish around the hole and find them and put them back in, but I didn't break them. I was lucky enough that I didn't break them. So That's a very good question. If you find that you're taking your inspection cover off a lot, it might be worth contacting the Green Hulk store or the Riva store, or going to your local dealer and buying a bag, buying, half a dozen of them and just keeping them. All right. It doesn't hurt you to have some extras, be out a few bucks, and they're sitting on a shelf. And that way, in case you do break one, or in case one falls and you can't find it, you can pop one in, and your ski is still operational. You're not any worse for wear. So I always joke, I go to the hardware store and I might pick up the wrong size, lock washer or whatever it might be. My wife's like, well, you can return it. And I go, I never return hardware, ever. It never loses its value. So it's always worth having a little bit of extra stuff. Even if it's an old coffee can full of old nuts and bolts, fill up an old coffee can. My dad, growing up in the garage in my house growing up was old cans of cut green beans and peaches and fruit cocktail and all sorts of stuff. And it was shelves full of it, but they're all marked with, flat washers, lock washers, nylocks, fine thread, coarse thread. We had all those things. So I really do recommend keeping extras if you can keep them. All right, Joshua writes a super chat. I love wearing goggles for water/bugs getting in your eyes. Do you know of any brand made for PWC use? Goggles? Well, I have done it. Okay. There are brands in the PWC industry who are making goggles specifically for PWC use. Jet Tribe is one of them. I don't like them. I think the materials are inferior. I think the fit is inferior. I know Specs does a hybrid sunglasses goggles. Amphibian USA does a hybrid sunglasses goggles. I'm not happy with any of them. I typically, if I'm using goggles, and that's when I was racing. When I raced, I was sponsored by Troy Lee Designs, which is dirt bike. But then here at the Watercraft Journal, when I tried racing a few times, I thought I was still 30 years old and I could go out and race. Dragon sponsored me with some goggles, and I really like the Dragon goggles. I think they have a very good ventilation. They don't fog. Replacing the lenses is very easy. Dragon makes a good goggle. Sunglasses wise, the best I've ever encountered are Wind Riders. And yeah, I reached out to them to sponsor us because I liked them so much. All right. Wind Rider are the best floating sunglasses I've ever encountered. Okay. They fit like it. You remember the old Arnett's? Remember old Arnett's, like the catfishes, like back in like 2002? All right. These fit as nicely as Arnett's, but they're ventilated. They float. These frames are actually, either hollow or whatever. They float. I don't, it's full of pixie dust, but it's a nice rubberized nose piece. I can't speak high enough of these guys. And I just introduced Wind Rider to Greg Gaddis, who is the Green Hulk Garage YouTube channel. And we're hoping to get Wind Rider sunglasses and products sold at the Green Hulk store, as well as Greg Gaddis wearing these on his YouTube channel. Greg does write for the Watercraft Journal. Actually, you should be seeing some stuff from him soon. But I definitely recommend Wind Rider sunglasses if you haven't already. All right, so let's go to the third one, or the fourth one. The fourth one is going to cause me the most grief. The fourth on this list is going to cause me the most grief because I'm telling people not to celebrate Christmas. I'm telling people to stop eating red meat. I'm telling people to stop having dogs. I don't know. It's like I'm asking them to give up their favorite thing. And that is stop jumping waves. I'm not talking wakes. I'm talking waves. Now, I know that there's some big vessels out there who produce wakes that are as high, if not higher, than waves. So maybe I don't need to specify the difference. All right. I'm going to tell you 4 foot and higher. 4 foot and higher. That's where my cutoff is. 4 foot and higher. And the manufacturer tells you not to do this. All right. I'll tell you something funny. This must have been like the first or second year Sea-Doo was advertising on the Watercraft Journal. And I go down to Melbourne Beach, or I go to Melbourne, Florida, and Sea-Doo's the one who has big stickers saying, don't jump it. It's in the manuals. It's everywhere. Don't jump these skis. Don't jump them. Where does Sea-Doo take me to ride? We go to Monster Hole to go jump jet skis, to go jump our Sea-Doos. And I'm dying. I'm like, guys, I'm okay doing it. I know. But why should you? I'm going to tell you all the corporate reasons why not to jump jet skis. And then you can all give me the finger and tell me, screw you, Kevin, I'm going to do it anyway. And that's fine. I'm okay with it. All right? Because I understand what I'm asking people not to do. And I'm a hypocrite because my kids go jump the wave, Dad. And I'm like, okay, and we'll go jump a wave. All right. Why should you not jump your watercraft? Well, let's talk about Sea-Doo. Number one is carbon seal. The Achilles heel of all Sea-Doos is the carbon seal. It is the weakest point of the entire ski, besides the person operating it. But the weakest point of all Sea-Doos is the carbon seal. I don't care how many changes they make to it. And they're getting better. They're getting better. They're having less failures. I've seen the numbers. They're doing better. But it's still the weakest point of that entire vehicle is the carbon seal. And jumping your ski, coming out, and that impeller is still spinning, and you come in, and that impeller goes from water to air to water, that tension and that impact is all felt in the carbon seal. 100%. It all ends at the carbon seal. Doesn't go all the way up to the drive shaft. It goes to the carbon seal. That's the impact point. Okay? That's where all the tension is. That carbon seal is what separates your watercraft from being on top of watercraft to being under the water. I don't know how else to say it. If I was to drop 20 grand or 18 grand on a brand new Sea-Doo, I'd be protecting that carbon seal with my life. Guys, I would not put that. If I was you, and I get it. I'm a magazine. I get my Sea-Doos for free for a year. People go, screw you, Kevin. What do you know? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. That's fine. I understand. I get it. Don't tell me how to ride my Sea. Don't tell me how to enjoy it. That I understand. But I implore you to consider keeping your carbon seal as safe as possible. Number two is also correlated to preserving the carbon seal, but not directly. And that is motor mounts. Sea-Doo is the only manufacturer using 3 motor mounts. It's a triangulated motor mount system. The triangulated motor mount system has been proven to misalign, especially after heavy jumping. It misaligns. And what does that mean? Here's your prop shaft. Here's your engine. And if your engine is misaligned, then that prop shaft is going to be misaligned as well. And all of a sudden, guess what? You start wearing your carbon seal out very quickly. All right. It's like a tire that's misaligned. And suddenly the inside, the inside or the outside or, a weird angle of that tire starts to wear out a lot faster than the regular tread pattern. Okay. So again, I'm cautious of this. I'm very, very nervous because I know how many people love jumping their skis, and I just see so many failures, and it's operator error. It's operator error. All right. So I talked about carbon seal. I talked about motor mounts. For Yamahas and Cowies, that injury doesn't happen at that injury, that sudden torque that happens when the water goes from water to air back to water. There's no carbon seal, but where it does hit is at the crankshaft. And I have seen crankshafts shear off. I've seen them shear. I've seen crankshafts break in half. I've seen drive shafts snap. I've seen props rip themselves, or impellers rip themselves to pieces. So the most detrimental action is jumping big waves. It really is. You can do it. I'm not your mom. I'm not your service writer. Do it all they want, all the time. Just be cognizant of what's happening. All right. There is a lot of torsional forces happening on a watercraft when it lands. And I'm talking air. I mean, really, really catching air. Ring! Whoomp! Hitting the water. All right. Besides what you could do to your wrists and your shoulders and your knees and your hips and your face, I'm just talking the watercraft. I don't really care what happens to your face. I care what happens to your watercraft. But again, guys, I'm just trying to be, as forthcoming as possible. The last one is going to be a quick one, and a lot of guys will tune out on this one, and that's fine. It's 100% okay. But this one really relates to not so much the life of your personal watercraft, but so much the retail or the resale value of your watercraft. And that is making permanent modifications. Most people don't hang on to the same ski for more than a decade. In fact, the numbers show anywhere from 5 to 7 years, typically, that a person will rotate out every 5 to 7 years of the new watercraft. And this is more often with 4 strokes than you would with a 2-stroke. There's guys who hang on to old XPs and 550s and, a myriad of different 2-strokes. But when it comes to late model 4 strokes, it's typically every 5 to 7 years. That's what the data shows. So permanent modifications, and I'm talking drilling holes in your hull so you can have a through hull exhaust, cutting apart, your seat to drill a hole so you can have a big breather come through it. I got a 5-inch hole in the back of my Sea-Doo so my engine can breathe now. I'm like, wow, okay, that's a choice. Guys cutting up their dashboards to put different gauges in. Obviously, heavy modifications to the engine, and especially just irreversible changes. Irreversible changes will murder your resale value. Quite frankly, because most people don't want to inherit someone else's project. Someone wants a ski that's got minimal hours and looks stock so that they feel confident in buying it. A heavily modified racecraft typically doesn't change hands. That's just kind of the way it goes. If you guys are not concerned with it, if you're like, I don't care, I'm going to build the ski I want, then by all means do it. I'm not going to tell you no. But if you are considering going, you know what, I just kind of want to hang on to this for 2 years and then I'm going to flip it and get something better, then leave it alone. Leave it alone. Or any changes you make sure they're reversible. All right. If you do a free flow exhaust, keep all of the factory exhaust components so that you can put it back. If you want to put a cold air kit on it, keep all the factory hardware so that you can put the factory air box and factory hoses and tubes back in. All right. Make sure it's reversible. That also goes for some outlets that do ECU reflashing. If you are planning on selling your Watercraft at some date, but you want to reflash your ECU, I recommend paying extra and buying or having them buy an ECU for them to reflash. And you take your factory one, put it aside, put it in a box, put it on the shelf, and put the retuned or the reflash ECU in and ride that until you're ready to flip it. And then put the factory one back on. Strongly, strongly recommend that you get the second ECU. Now, if you're going to use a Map Tuner X, the blessing of the Map Tuner X is that you can immediately plug in your Map Tuner and blip, blip, put your factory tune back in, and you're none the wiser. Everything's great. So I highly recommend, if you are planning on using an ECU, go with the Map Tuner X because it's reversible and it doesn't screw up your hour count. Or if you're going to have another person reflash your ECU, that's like a K-Speed, JP Racing, Dean's Team. There's a million different tuners out there. Have them buy a blank ECU and pay the premium and run that one. That's the best solution I can offer when it comes to a situation like that. All right. Oh, yeah, you know what? We can talk a little bit about that. Also part of like permanent modifications would be recutting your only ride plate. So you've cut up your ride plate, cutting up your intake grate, the transom plate. Some people have modified the transom plate, any pump changes. That's why I recommend like a Riva. If you're like, oh, okay, I'll just go buy a Works or a Riva unit. I can bolt it on. I keep my factory one. I put it on a shelf. Otherwise, you send your plate out to, Jim's plate, or if you send it out to Dean's Team, they're going to cut and permanently modify your ride plate or your intake grate. And now you're going to have to buy a replacement, or you just sell it modified and hope that the guy wants it modified. So again, this last step was primarily in regards to resale value. So you can kind of take that with a grain of salt. All right, guys, we are done. I have crossed everything off of my list. So we are done with the topic. It is the longest I have ran without answering questions. We're an hour and a half, but let's go up to our giant list. I got a lot of questions. I have no problem running a little over 2 hours. I got water and I'm well rested. So I will, I'll dig into these. And anyone who wants to participate for a prize, I know Anthony claimed the red gloves. So far, he's the only one that I've seen claim any one of the prizes. Mark Hoffman, you get, if you ask a question, Mark Hoffman, because of your super chat, you can also be entered in to win a prize. Otherwise, thank you for the super chat, and we'll just carry on. Okay, so Nick writes, hi, 2021 GP 1800 with broken glove box latch. Have you heard of anything? Had a guy chase me down on the lake. His broken also, and he knows another guy. I was washing mine, and the latch just popped off. Yeah, the latches are garbage on the GPs and the VXs. They're cheap, flimsy crap. And I have not talked to Yamaha about them. I presume there's enough people complaining that they've become aware of it, but there has not been any sort of update or service bulletin that I have seen. I hate to say it, but chances are they're going to go to the rubberized latch that's on the FX. That one's very polarizing. I don't mind it. I've just had a hard time making sure that it's sealed. I've had the door open on me before. But the GPs and the VXs have a super crappy latch, and it's super cheap, and it's just trash. And I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't have an answer for you on that one, Nick. What sucks is that you guys wait forever for a ski. You pay top dollar, and then it's really lightweight and flimsy and things break. And that just is disheartening. That's a quick way to lose a customer. All right. Anthony writes, you probably didn't know that Canada has a different can than the USA does for Sea-Doo, but the Ski-Doo cans are the same. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Mark Hoffman, thanks for your advice and time this weekend regarding my Sea-Doo GTR 230. My pleasure, Mark. I'm glad that we were able to work through a little bit. John Cunningham writes, first-time watcher from Canada, Nova Scotia, Canada. Proud owner of a 2021 GP 1800R SVHO. Very cool. Okay. Maurice writes, what do you think about the front storage-mounted Works cold air intake system? Well, the nice thing is that Works and Riva both are trying to capitalize on where the coldest air in the Watercraft is. All right. The guys who are just giving you the little 90 degree with the conical filter, you're going to get less performance out of that because that's the hottest part of the engine compartment. It's breathing the worst, hottest, nastiest air right there. The Riva cold air kit and the Works kit both puts the air element up where the most ventilation and cool air, densest cool air is coming into the ski. Let's see here. Joshua James. It's allowed in Oregon, and I have lights on mine just to go and look at stars at night when I'm camping on the lake. Joshua, that's awesome. Hey, if you got any pictures, man, I'd love to see some nighttime pictures of your ski lit up. That'd be cool. Email me at info@watercraftjournal.com. All right. Simon asks, any news on the 2022 Sea-Doo models, the Sea-Doo Fish Pro in particular? I believe it's going to be a lot of BNG. BNG is the industry term for bold new graphics, which is a silly marketing term that people would use. And bold new graphics just means new colors, new colors and stickers. Don't expect any change. Don't expect a supercharged Fish Pro anytime soon. We're hoping for a better run of IDF. We're hoping that things are better with the IDF system, but we'll have to see. I don't really know. All right, so Anthony gets his gloves. Anthony's going to email me. Let's see here. Mr. Toybox writes, driftwood got stuck in my prop, gassed it, and the entire wave runner shook violently. Had to use a crowbar to pry it out. It runs fine now, but how easily is it to damage in that situation? Very, 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 very easy. That's how plastic wear rings on Sea-Doos are marred to death. Believe it or not, your day can be ruined by a piece of wood the size of that little thumbnail. I was out with Arno Albrecht from HydroTurf, and he sucked up a little tiny piece of wood, and we had to bring it home, and I had to climb underneath. I had to pull that ski halfway off the trailer and get a LED light and look, and I was in there with a 1.5 foot long screwdriver, and pried out a little tiny chunk of wood, because that little piece of wood was right at the tip of the leading edge of the blade, and it was just cutting this ring inside of the wear ring. Stupidest stuff. Yeah, you can do some damage. You can do some damage. All right. Let's see here. Jason Bourne writes, Anthony, I've had red and green lights that are meant for joggers. Velcro secures to the handlebars. I have a bicycle light for the stern. I just keep them in the compartment if I get stuck. Okay, that's clever. That's a Hail Mary if I ever heard one. But that's pretty smart, Jason. I like that. All right. Let's keep rolling here. All right. Anthony writes, thanks for sparking my anxiety. I parked my machine on a beach last week around the same time as the coolant cap must have come off. Okay. All right, Daryl writes, I'm putting in a new soulless impeller after sucking in rocks when Allatoona Lake lowered their level last fall. I didn't realize it was that shallow in areas. Oh man, I've been on Allatoona where you see beaches that you didn't know existed. It can be pretty sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm sorry to hear about your impeller. I hope you definitely got okay. We got a few more here. Jason Martin asks, would sponsons make a big difference in my 2017 FX HO? Seems to wallow with waves coming from the side. Feels like I can get stuck in the wave. Yeah, the Pro Series sponsons for the FX will help. You don't need them set. They're 5 levels of adjustment. You don't need them set very deep. I would set them at probably 3. But they are going to give you a little better bite, and it's going to let you track a little truer through those cross chops and through the diagonal breaking waves if you're encountering that. Okay. Daryl writes, I get mold inside of my jet ski covers. Then your covers are not well ventilated. That's for sure. And you can wash them. So I recommend doing that too. ZV Orange asks, any recommended handling upgrades for a Kawasaki STX 15F? Thankfully, the 15F is a very vibrant racecraft. That hull had been raced for years. Riva, you'll have to dig because they haven't sold a lot of it in recent years. But Riva did get all of R&D Racing's designs. Not all of them, but most of them. When they bought a large chunk of R&D Racing when R&D closed. And R&D had some really good sponsons and intake crate and ride plate. K-Speed, of course, just came out with a new ride plate. They have an intake crate and they have sponsons. K-Speed is still very active in Kawasaki handling and performance products. So K-Speed would probably be your best bet. Riva, of course, is a good one too. All right. Daryl writes, I installed the catch can on my Wake Pro. Can't see any oil in it after 10 hours of use. It has 40 hours of it now. Good. It's doing its job. Good. You don't want oil in that catch can. All right. If you have too much oil in the catch can, that means your oil level's too high. It means you've got a really good oil level, Daryl, and it means that your crankcase is well ventilated. So you're doing great. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Kimmy writes, I have the breather kit from Riva for my 2020 FX SVHO Cruiser. Compared to other catch cans, it seems cheap. Should I change it? No, because your SVHO does not need a catch can. It has a breather kit. All right. that is allowing the crankcase to naturally equalize its atmosphere. Atmosphere is a technical term, but atmosphere is barometric atmosphere, or it's atmospheric pressures. And you want a depressurized, in fact, you kind of want vacuum, to be honest, but that's another conversation. You want negative atmosphere in a crankcase, but positive atmosphere is not good. And what the breather kit for the Yamaha is allowing is for that air pressure, that atmosphere, positive atmosphere, to escape. The Sea-Doos have really bad oil blow-by, which means that it builds up a lot of positive atmosphere and it's impregnated with a lot of oil, and it pushes that oil through into the intake. Sea-Doo or Yamaha does not have that problem nearly as bad as Sea-Doo. So you're good, Kimmy. You're in good shape. All right. Jason McCush, he writes, another tip, fill up 3 inches in the hull, flush the fresh water before you remove drain plugs. Yamahas all have water in the hull. I do not recommend putting water in the hull. Stop putting water in the hull. Don't listen to Jason's point. Jason's wrong. Don't put water in the hull of your ski. Don't. Ugh. Why did I read that? All right. All right. Cameron Caddy writes, I was told by quite a few people that WD-40 in the engine compartment is good under moderation, but use an anti-corrosive lubricant as well. WD-40 is an anti-corrosive. Don't know what to tell you. Moving on. All right. Daryl writes, it sounds like a good idea to use dishwasher detergent. Bubbles can't be good as they're difficult to get rid of. It breaks down. It's just aerated. It's just aerated, so you'll be fine. Oh, yikes, Sean. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear it. All right. Use WD silicone. Okay, that's a good choice too. The WD silicone formula has a far better coating bond, coating adhesion. So it's more expensive by like $1 or $2, but it's good. All right. Let's see here. We're moving on. Fluid film is really, really good for corrosion protection. Okay, use fluid film. That's good. Let's see here. All right, Matt writes, stock 2021 GP 1800R with stock 8000 tune. What's your next recommended parts to add, in your opinion, performance, handling, longevity? Sponsons, intake grate. Sponsons and intake grate. Cold air kit. Engine breather. Free flow exhaust. But that might be noisy. But yeah, that'd be my next 4 steps. All right. Why don't PWC have a real launch control like those drag boats have? Reverse bucket, stay in neutral while revving up the engine, then lift the bucket quickly. Sea-Doo's launch control is similar to that. What Sea-Doo's launch control really does is toggle the trim so that you're not porpoising out of the water, but that you're actually flat accelerating. Primarily, it's an ECU function. It's gimmicky. Don't get me wrong. Yamaha's launch control is similar to Sea-Doo's in that degree. That is primarily operated through VTS, through the trim. I mean, it's a good question. I've been on skis with an actual launch control, and it's impressive. I mean, it pulls hard, but that might be something in the future. But I wouldn't put a lot of money on it. Okay. I found out you can't buy Meguiar's marine cutting compound in Canada. You gone to Amazon? Amazon gets to Canada. Why wouldn't they send it to Canada? What did Trudeau do? I mean, I understand he's the love child of Fidel Castro, but I mean, why does he hate Meguiar's? I'm joking. All right, moving on. Moving on. 303 aerospace protectant is okay. Well, a lot of guys like 303, so that's good. Yeah, I just don't know 303 at all. I've never used it. Real quick, when you buy one of the skis brand new, do they come with a trailer or at least options? Depends on what your dealer wants to sell you. It doesn't come with a trailer. It doesn't come with a trailer. It's like asking if you buy a brand new car, does it come with a tank of gas? Enough to get you off the lot. All right. Do I need a catch can on SVHO? No. I've done a video on this one, guys. Like detailed video. You don't need a catch can on a Yamaha, and I explain why. Go watch the video. All right. Let's see here. Oh gosh. Yeah, guys, please don't armor all or coat your grips. Please don't do that. And to be honest, be very selective about what kind of vinyl treatment you put on your seat. Because if your seat's too slick, you might go swimming. All right. Why? Orange asks, why does Sea-Doo continue to use carbon seals? Are there any benefit to them? The only thing that benefits anyone from carbon seals is it benefits Sea-Doo's service departments because it's another wear item that they can charge you to replace. My understanding is the reason why they continue to use carbon seals is because it's now a point of pride. It's a point of investment that they've invested and poured so much money into the carbon seal program that they're like, we've put so much money into it, we can't. It's a money pit. They're like, we can't give up now. We got to get it right. And at some point, you got to just roll over and go, okay, this isn't working. We got to move on. Scott writes, it takes 1 minute and 45 seconds from seat removal to access cover removal. 3.35 to reinstall. The Torx 30 light impact driver. Yeah. But the problem is that some people aren't as quick as you or I. And people are afraid of losing the stupid nylocks and washers from the front too, which is infuriating that they still use nylocks and washers on those front two. They need to use the clips, but whatever. Anthony writes, I've broken 4, but due to the proper torque. It might be alignment. You might be misaligning them. So what I strongly suggest is that you don't tighten them. You thread them down. You thread all of them down, and just so that they're not even snug, but they're all threaded in. And then it's the plate. We're talking about the inspection cover or the engine access cover on all Sea-Doos that have link. And what is it? 13? Is that 13 torque screws? But you don't tighten them down, but you thread them in so that they're all threaded. And then as they're threaded in, you can kind of shake it a little bit and it'll even them out. And that's when you start tightening them down. And you tighten them down in a crosshatch pattern, right? And you from corner to corner, corner to corner, and you start tightening up that crosshatch pattern, and you'll be in better shape. All right. Blow-off valve helps supercharger clutch longevity. That is true. Florida Dream Rides writes, I always elevate the ski after flush without water, and every 10 minutes give it a couple of light revs to get all the water out of storage. That's okay. That's a good process. I'd agree with that. All right. Keith writes, I've got the sponsons and catch can. That was the first thing I bought. Okay, good. Okay, glad to hear it. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't want to come down on you, but I that was the first things I was going to recommend. I know that they're going on first. Thanks. I'll take the Sea-Doo tumbler if available. Okay, we got a call. There we go, Keith. Keith, this is yours. Keith, please email me your mailing address. You email me your mailing address. The Sea-Doo tumbler is yours. It's actually a really nice piece, so good selection. All right, it's over there. No one's touching it. Okay. Joshua writes, I knew it'd be stop jumping, LOL. What about towing if broken down? What about it? Tow if you broke down. Just don't go fast. Go like 5 miles, 10 miles an hour at the most. All right. I have a 900 ZXI and a wave blaster for jumping waves, and they are rock stars, and they rightfully are. All right. I'm talking about these new 920-pound made out of plastic giant 4-stroke skis. Your little 2-stroke, catch as much air as humanly possible and love every minute of it. I envy you. All right. What are the best ways to combat cavitation? I have a stock 2021 GP 1800 SVHO. Intake great. Different prop. Ask Jerry Gaddis about prop and tune. Make sure you have the right transom. Make sure your Sea-Doo or make sure your Yamaha came with the right transom plate, because some early ones were fitted with the wrong transom plate, which is unbelievable. Okay, moving on. Swells from tugboats are the worst. Very true. Let's see here. The casual stab at Sea-Doo riders. Yeah, sorry. Okay, a lot of guys are sharing what they... Sounds like they need to make more durable carbon seals. It sounds like they need to stop making carbon seals. They just need to go with a damn hull bearing. If they went with a hull bearing, we'd all... Dude, can you imagine what would happen if all the 2022 models had hull bearings? People would try to retrofit hull bearings into their old Sea-Doos. That's number one. Number two, people would be selling their stuff so fast, and they'd be buying all new units. Holy cow. I can't imagine. All right. Let's see here. Oh, skipped ahead. Darn it. Did it again. Crap. This stupid thing skips ahead. All right. Yeah. This is the one thing I am serious about, letting off the throttle when airborne. Yes. I probably should have mentioned that, but I'm not trying to give people tips on how to better jump. I want them not to jump, because all they do is go on Facebook and go, my stuff broke and I don't know why. And then you look at their profile pictures and they're like 20 feet in the air. And you're like, I know why. All right. So how can one artificially cool the carbon seal if in the driveway? What about running a sprinkler from under the Sea-Doo? Build a test tank. I don't know. Yeah, if you got to get your kid underneath there with the hose and sit there and spray the hose, I don't recommend it. There's no reason why you need to run your Sea-Doo 5 minutes on your trailer. A minute. You're not hurting anything if it runs for a minute. If you can't get your job done in a minute, you shouldn't own one. It's not hard. Imagine the effort to build a sprinkler system. Oh, gosh. All right, moving on. All right. Oh, Joseph writes, first-time listener here. You are very knowledgeable. Just picked up a 2007 Yamaha GP 1300R. Do you have any recommendation for things to look out for? 2007 was the last year of the 1300. I want to say it's black and gold, wasn't it? It's a neat ski. Oh, I can't even tell you what to do on that one. Novi pipe. Protect carbs. Ooh. Guy, R&D made everything for that ski. Oh. I wonder if Riva still has the part selection for that ski. Joseph, I don't know. Ooh, that'd be neat. Okay. Hi, Kevin. Any indication of when the 2022 Yamahas will be announced? Colors. Mark, yes. Let's see. What's today? Today's the 27th. Well, I go out to Yamaha the first week of August. So probably middle of August. They give me a couple weeks to get the video and the article ready. So probably middle of August. Then the middle of August is when I go and see the new Sea-Doos, and which probably means the end of August that I release everything. So August is going to be a fun month. I'm going to be really busy. I might not be doing some of these things just because I might be so stinking busy. All right. Hello, Kevin from Nova Scotia, Canada. I bought a new 2021 Sea-Doo RX-TX. I put a Riva catch can on it, but noticed she was filling with oil after every hour of riding. Is this caused by too much oil? Yes. Way too much oil. Way too much oil. Like way too much oil. Jerry Gaddis, Greg Gaddis, and I talked about it in our live session, which had a terrible upload, and we lost a half an hour of it. And it breaks my heart because we talked about a lot of really cool stuff on it. The best way to check your oil is on a flat, level surface. Fire up your Sea-Doo for 30 seconds. Just let it idle. Kill the engine. Wait 30 seconds. Get a paper towel. Wipe off the dipstick. Check your oil. See where it is. Ideally, with it somewhat warm, it should be within the first third of the indent. If you're halfway up or higher, you got way too much oil. Way too much. And you're actually causing yourself to lose performance. You're losing speed because it's drowning in oil. So I would actually pull a quart out. I bet you you're overfilled by almost a quart. You can always add more. But yeah, I would check your oil first, see where it is. If you are above half, I would definitely pull at least half a quart out. Okay. When should a carbon seal be replaced for preventative maintenance? You got to check it for wear. Look for the dust pattern inside of your engine or inside of your engine compartment. If you see a bunch of carbon, heavy carbon, you're in trouble. If it's very light, yeah, you're okay. But there's no 50 hour or 100 hour or 150 hours. There just isn't. It's look at it, pay attention. Look, you just got to pay attention to it. All right. Bryken asks, my 2000 Sea-Doo RXDI max speed should be around 60, but only peaks around 40. So only 2/3 speed. And with the learner key is only 2/3 of what top speed should be as well. Any thoughts? I'm not really sure where you're getting that 60 mile an hour number. Is that on the speedometer or is that on the GPS? First, check out your hull, check out your pump, check out your impeller. Make sure that it's healthy. All right. You want to make sure that all of those components are healthy. I'm not really sure where you're getting the 60 mile per hour number. I think that's a little enthusiastic. And then by a little, I mean a lot. All right. All righty. Let's move on. Let's see here. Dylan writes, I have a GP 1800R SVHO 2021 and watched your video when I removed the water hose. Do I just take the hose off and leave it and this won't harm the ski, or do I have to cover the jet pump? Oh, you're talking about the pisser. Yeah, you can disconnect it and just leave it spraying. You can cap it off. Believe it or not, the funniest thing, I turned it into a squirt gun, for God's sakes. The funniest thing that I've seen is at the Mud Bug, there was a guy with a GP 1800. He got a rubber ducky and he hard mounted it to the back of his hull and drilled a hull. And that hose has the duck spitting horizontally out of the back of the ski. He literally has a rubber ducky spitting out of the back of it. Just, it's really funny. My daughter loved it. She was dying. She thought that was the funniest thing she ever saw. Yeah, you're not hurting the jet pump at all. Let's see here. What do you prefer, new top model, Sea-Doos or Yamahas? I'm not even going to get into that one. We've talked about that ad nauseum. There's videos there. Are misaligned emblems covered under warranty on a GP 1800 or a GP SVHO? Missed it on delivery. No. They're going to tell you to pound sand. They are. Dealer doesn't care. Unless you have a really good relationship with your dealer, or you buy a lot of product for them and you're a loyal customer and they have really good customer service, most dealers are going to tell you to piss off. They are. I have very low opinions of dealers. I don't know what to tell you. I know I said in a video before, do not accept a ski if it's below quality and you need to be on top of it. So I say don't accept it. Make sure they fix it, because here's the problem. You're not going to find the stickers you want. Stickers are back ordered. I am still waiting 5 months for one sticker for that yellow 2020 GP 1800R that we had. Still waiting on it. It's ridiculous. What's the best way to detect an exhaust leak on a 2015 FX Cruiser SVHO? Is it? Well, okay. Back your ski on the trailer into the water, fire up your ski, take the seats off. Stick your head in the engine compartment. Look for steam. Look for loose hose clamps. Look for water. It's easy. It's idling in the water. If you do it on a weekday and you're not holding up the launch ramp, back it in. Let it run so it's circulating water through the engine and through the exhaust system. And go out there with a screwdriver and tighten all your hose clamps. You can tighten all your hose clamps in your garage, but you won't be able to see if you've made any difference. Doing it while it's running on the launch ramp, easy. I don't want anyone holding up launch ramps. If you guys are out there holding up launch ramps, I want someone to narc on you. Okay. Let's see here. Think there'll be any updates to the Superjet other than the graphics? Not whatsoever. No way. Not at all. You're insane if you think they're going to update it after 1 year. No way. Parker writes, I have a 2021 Yamaha GP 1800R SVHO, and when it's sitting in the water, it leans about half an inch to the left. Could it be just because the water box is on that side? I don't know. Sure. Okay. Maybe you put stuff in the front of the ski that's on one side. Maybe you don't have your fire extinguisher in. Water box is not full of water. There's not a pound of water sitting in it. It's not enough to weigh it down. It's not sinking. Make sure your drain plugs are in. Maybe it is sinking. But make sure your drain plugs are in. Superman Builders asks, hey, Kevin, picked up a 2021 Ultra 310 LX. Any advice to make it go faster? Yes. Did a whole video on it. Guys, I put out so many videos. I put out so many articles. I slave over a hot stove for you children, and nobody cares. Sorry. Guys, I did a whole video on Kawasaki tuning, Riva versus K-Speed. Look that one up. Big killer video on that one. And an article to go with it, with more details and hyperlinks. Guys, am I spinning my wheels here? Am I wasting my time? All right. How come Sea-Doo got rid of their adjustable X sponsons? I immediately noticed them on my 2017 to my TX because they didn't work. They were useless. They didn't do half the work that the Riva system did. Rick writes, thank you for all your advice. $5 super chat. Thank you for the pity, Rick. I love it. Thank you for the pity. All right. All right. When is the best time to gently hose the engine and flush it down? Before or after engine flush? It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I kind of like afterwards because the engine isn't hot. And I don't like spraying WD-40 all over a hot engine. Does that make sense? So, yeah. All right. Have you seen the new service bulletin on the IDF recalls? Yes, I have the actual service bulletin. My dealer received my ski after waiting 9 months, and now I have to wait 3 weeks for the recall parts. Sea-Doo has been no help. Well, they're waiting on the parts. This has been a rough year, dude. It's been a rough year. A lot of people got really screwed this year. All right. Saltwater Life writes, is a Stage 1 Plus safe from Riva for an FX SVHO 2020? I'm just scared about warranty. Dude, don't modify it if you're afraid of warranty. Don't. Just stop. Just stop it. Stop it. All right. If you want to modify your ski, kiss your warranty goodbye. Just accept it. You're going to reflash your ECU? Toodles. Now, a map tuner, you can put it back to stock. Okay. But unless you don't plan on putting everything back to stock, your dealer is going to have an aneurysm when they see your ski. So, and then they're going to hook up your bud system. They're going to look at it and they're going to go, okay, we see that you've been at 8,800 RPM or 8,000 however many RPM for XYZ. This thing's been tuned. So just kiss your warranty goodbye. Just accept it or leave it alone. It's your choice. All right. John writes, besides the carbon seal, what are the weak points on the GTX Limiteds, and are they good skis? IDF, carbon seal, and the hull. The hull shape is the worst hull shape of any current skis. The hull shape is the single worst hull shape for rough water tracking, rough water handling at any speed above 30 miles an hour. If you're stationary, if you're cruising, if you're going 20 miles an hour, if you're an old man with listening to Barry Manilow's greatest hits, it's a great ski. It's great. It's very comfortable. But if you're planning on going 45 miles an hour across 5-foot chop at speed, I hope you have your living will. All right. That was a little harsh, but I've answered that question a whole lot. All right, question. I have a 2021 STX 160LX. Any recommendations for protectant for those seats? They are made from a different looking material. Yeah, that's their heat resistant black, which is sort of heat resistant. You don't want a really slippery. You want a protectant. Armor All makes a nice wipe, a little bottle with wipes, and they're a nice protectant it's not very glossy. It's not very slick, but it adds a nice protective layer. You should be okay with those. All right. I think we've done through most. I know we had some other super chats. Saltwater Life comes in with another super chat. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Just wanted to make sure it is a reliable tune. I always ride myself in open ocean. It's a reliable tune. Oh, dude. And you have access to their tuning library. You have access to their service department. You have access to all their tuning. So you're in good shape in that case. But when it comes to a heavy modification, like reflashing your ECU and going to a stage 1 kit, except that you're pretty much going to kiss your warranty goodbye, except for like cosmetic stuff and pump stuff. And they might find wiggle room to get out of their pump stuff. And given the fact that Yamaha is trying desperately just to get product out, they're not going to be real lenient when it comes to a guy who's heavily modified his ski claiming, hey, I got a problem with XYZ happening with my powertrain. They go, well, wait a minute. This thing's freaking a hot rod, and he's all over Facebook posting his pictures. And by the way, heads up, Sea-Doo and Yamaha and Cowie all watch my videos, including my live sessions. So, just some warning. All right. Guys, I think, okay. New Slender Gaming asks, this may be a silly question, but why does a stock 1503 Ace supercharger whine way louder than a stock 1630 Ace? I haven't heard the decibel count, so I can't say definitively. Yeah, I really can't. So it looks like you need a drink. Have a good night. I don't drink, so I'm kind of screwed. But guys, thanks again. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I think we're going to button this one up. Guys, thanks again. I swore we had another winner for our super chats for coming in. Saltwater Life. Hey, you know what, Saltwater? Tell me what prize you want. Saltwater wins a prize. You paying attention, Saltwater? What prize do you want? I won't sign off before Saltwater makes a prize or selects a prize. We'll definitely we'll get Saltwater a prize for his super chat. Definitely can't look at that right now. That's my QAnon friend who sends me every conspiracy theory. Did I miss any other super chats? I want to make sure everyone who donated a super chat. Any questions? Stony. Did you select a prize? Guys. Okay. Crap. I don't think Stony selected a prize either. Saltwater. Are you here? Crap. Okay, guys. Stony and Saltwater. If you want one of the prizes that I listed that was not claimed, please email me at info@watercraftjournal.com. Kimberly comes in with a super chat in the last minute. Holy cow, Kimberly, thank you very much. But Stony and Saltwater, both Saltwater Life, both made donations and had good questions that got the conversations going, and we want conversations going. So thank you very much for those. Kevin, don't wait. Kimberly asked, Kevin, don't go yet. Please answer this question for me. Okay, what's Kimberly's question? Kimberly, okay, thank you for the super chat, but what's your question? I'll wait. John Cunningham. Yeah, but John, you didn't donate a super chat. And we are rewarding our super chat friends. And I'll wait for Kimberly's question, and then I'll get the heck out of here. So until that point, guys, if you like the Watercraft Journal, you like what we're doing, please go over and subscribe to our newsletters. All right, I put the hyperlink at the very top. Just go to watercraftjournal.com, hit subscribe. It's a free newsletter. It's a recap of all the articles that we publish during the week and all the videos. We do two newsletters a week. All right. Oh, here we go. Kimberly's got a question. All right. Kimberly writes, hey, Kevin, I have a 2021 VX Limited TR1 motor. I have 10 hours on it. I am losing power. Can you tell me your thoughts? Define losing power. After 10 hours, I would be surprised if you're having mechanical issues, especially with it only being 10 hours. That's a good question. Now, the nice thing is that you're still under warranty, so you can always take it in and have them look. But I need to know what losing power means. All right. Are you not seeing top speed? You feel that you're not getting the same acceleration. You are feeling that it's misfiring. You might have a fouled spark plug. And we definitely need a better definition. So I'll tell you what, Kimberly, email me at info@watercraftjournal.com. info@watercraftjournal.com. Email me a little bit more information about your ski, and I'll help work you through that one because I don't want to leave you hanging. All right. Losing top speed, but we'll gain it back. Another super chat. Goodness. Well, thank you, Kimberly. Losing top speed, but we'll gain back. So it's surging, right? This is going to take a lot longer than the time I got allotted. And I want to help you out, Kim. So please email me so that we can keep this conversation going. I can do it during the week. I don't want to leave you hanging. So please email me. But again, you are under warranty. But yeah, you are under warranty. They should be, if there is a mechanical issue. My question is what the impeller looks like. My question is, you shouldn't even have to pull your coils and look at your spark plug. You shouldn't even have to. What does your oil look like? Very basic stuff. Is your oil honey gold? You know, honey gold. When I say honey gold, I literally mean like honey, like the color of honey, goldish. All right. If it's brown, that's one thing. If your impeller looks good and the blades look nice and clean, the leading edges look good, then it's not your impeller, and that's good news. But there's a myriad of different things that could be happening, and what I'm getting is not enough information. So please email me. I'm serious. Please email me. I want to help you out, and we can go over this. But until that time, guys, I'm going to check out. Guys, please subscribe to the newsletter. Do me a favor. If you're still here, please like this video. Please hit the like button. do me a solid and hit that like button, like right now. Just like it. All of you, my minions, like the video. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And we appreciate everyone who's come around. If you like other videos that we've done, please make sure to hit the like button. We definitely want to see the likes kind of bump up. And if you don't subscribe to this channel, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. I just had a hair fall out of my beard. Just watched it on camera fall out. Holy cow, KDH just came in. Guys, I'm trying to say goodbye. KDH came in. Hey, KDH writes, just got home and tuned in. Always miss these live, but I enjoy the replays driving to work. Thanks again for the useful info. My pleasure. Thank you, KDH. I'm glad I rambled on too long. Guys, thanks again. We're going to check out. But if you can, please hit the like button. We definitely want to get the thumbs up on this one. And if you don't already subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do. We want to get to 15,000 subscribers pretty quickly. Other than that, we're done. Thanks again, guys. And we'll see you in the next video.